Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to tie this technique. My name is Eminence Vigbe, and today we are going to be learning how to make this beautiful and trendy yoke. This, as you can see, this yoke is not really regular. It's not like the normal yoke that you sew into your neckline. This yoke is on top of the bustier. So I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make this beautiful yoke. I'm going to tell you this video is very beginner friendly. I'm going to tell you guys what to do when cutting this yoke, how to cut it, and what not to do, and the mistakes so you won't make it. So I'm just going to explain how I achieve this yoke. So let's just dive right into the video. But before I do that, I want to explain that the patterns I'm going to be using to make this video, I'm not going to explain how I place my measurements on the patterns, because while I was filming the first time, I mistakenly filmed it vertically instead of a landscape form, and I didn't really like the outcome. So I'm not going to be showing you guys that part, but I'm going to explain how I place my measurements on them. So let's just dive right into the video. So guys, I've gone ahead to cut out all the patterns, as you can see. So I'm just going to explain how I place my measurements and how I got these patterns. It's not really that hard, so just make sure you stay focused and you understand. So for this pattern, this is just a normal half length pattern, and this is what I'm going to be using for the yoke. So I just took my shoulder measurement, my half length measurements for this dress, which is 18 inches plus 1 inch allowance, and for my bust part, I took my bust measurements plus 2 inches. So for the neck depth, I went in by 3.5 inches, and for the neck width, I went in by 3 inches. So you can also do more for yourself if you want. So this half length that I just cut out, this half length that I just explained, I'm going to be using it specifically for the yoke. I'm not going to be using it to cut out the bustier parts of this dress. I'm just going to be using it for the yoke, but I'm not going to shape it now. I'm going to shape it later on in this video when I'm done joining the bustier parts, the bustier under. I don't I don't know if I said that right, but let me just put this aside. So this pattern is for the yoke. I cut a half length. Is if you cut it this way, it's going to be simple for you. It's for the yoke. So this is my bustier parts, and it's just a normal off shoulder bustier. So you can just cut it anyway. Cut it the normal way you would normally cut your off shoulder bustier. So you can, as you can see, I've gone ahead to cut mine. That's why it's looking like this. For the upper part, I removed 6 inches and from the half length to achieve this, and for the neck part, I went in by 2.5 inches. You can also go deeper if you want, maybe 3 inches, but I just went in by 2.5 inches. And sorry, I did not cut this on fold because I was trying to manage my brown paper. I was trying to manage my brown paper, so that's why I did not cut it on fold. But when I'm cutting it on my fabric, I'm going to cut it on fold. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say, but you're going to see that later. So let me just put this aside. So the next pattern I'm going to be bringing in is my back half length, my back pattern, my back half length. You can okay, so this pattern is just a normal half length pattern, although as you can see, I've removed the yoke parts. I will explain how I did all this. It's simple how I did all this now. So I cut my normal half length, which is 18 plus 1 inch allowance, for which makes it 19. I added my zipper allowance before placing my measurements, my shoulder measurement, my bust measurements, the normal way you cut an half length. So for the neck depth, after the zipper, I went in by 3 inches, just like I did for the front neck width, sorry. And for this down part, you can see that I went in by 1 inches because I didn't want the yoke to start immediately after the zipper, so I just went in by 1 inches. So you can leave yours if you want, but I just wanted mine to be like that. For this yoke part, I want this yoke to have the same fabric with the front. So that was why I removed the yoke part. You can leave yours like that. You might, if you don't want to put yoke, you can decide not to put yoke. It's not bad. So this is what I have, and this is what I'm going to be using for the back part. So I'm just let me bring in all the patterns I cut so you can understand. I cut that front, the first half length, which will be for the front yoke. I cut that, but I've not shaped it out yet. So that's all. So as you can see, I've gone ahead to cut it on my fabric. I also added gum stay, padded. You can see that this place I was trying to explain before, that I did not cut on fold, I make sure I cut it on fold when cutting it on the fabric. So please, I hope you understand what I did. So I've just gone ahead to do all that. I cut the back part. I also cut lining for it. You can add gum stay to your back bodice if you want, but I didn't add gum stay to mine. I just cut it like a normal. I just cut it only with only the fabric, and I cut lining for it too. Yeah, so I told you that I've not cut out the front yoke because I want to join the bustier part first before I cut the front yoke. If you cut it now, you might not really get it accurately, so I want to join it first. For the back yoke too, I've not cut it out because it will be the same fabric with this front yoke, so I'm just going to cut it together when I want to cut this front yoke. So let's just leave this part for now. I'm going to cut it later, so just hold on. I'm going to go ahead and join the fabric. So the patterns I cut on my fabric, so as you can see, I've gone ahead to join it and it's all coming together. I also went ahead to cut the yoke part for the back. I just wanted to join everything so I won't have to go back and draw this, and you understand. So I've joined everything. I've joined the back. I've even added my lining. I used the bias tape to turn that neck part for the yoke. So it's my cloth. That was why I used a brown bias. In case you are wondering, it's my clothes, and I didn't have a black bias, and I don't want to go and buy. So that was why I just used it. So this is my front posture, and as you can see, I've joined it. I've also added my lining. It's just like a normal off shoulder. You can use this as a normal off shoulder. So I'm just trying to explain it to you so you understand what I'm trying to say. So that's what I did. So next, I'm going to just freehand sketch that yoke that I saw on the dress that I'm making. I'm just going to look at the yoke and just try to freehand sketch it on your posterior parts. So that's what I'm doing here. Just freehand sketch it the way it is on that dress. Just try to freehand sketch it. It's not that hard. So next, I'm going to take my tape rule and place my tape rule and make sure I have 18.5 inches at that down part. So I have 18 inches already. So from the upper part to where that chalk is starting is 8.5 inches. So I'm going to take 8.5 inches, and I'm going to bring it to this first half length that I cut first. I'm going to bring it to this first half length that is for the yoke. I'll take 8.5 inches and measure 8.5 inches from the shoulder to where 8.5 inches it will be on this half length. I hope you get that. I hope you get that. So that's what I'm doing right now. So now I got 8.5 inches. Let me do it very well so you can see it very well. Now the next thing I'm going to do is go back to my bustier, and on the other side of this bustier I'm going to measure from where that chalk is to the down part. But I later saw that it was too low compared to what was on the dress that I am making, so I adjusted it. I sketched it again, so I sketched it again so it will be more accurate, because I think I saw that it was it was directly on the under bust, so I sketched it again. Let me do it very well so you can see it very well. Sorry, the camera was shaking. I'm so sorry. So as you can see, I shaped it again and went up a little bit, and I measured from where the chalk is to the down part, and it was 5 inches. It was 5 inches. So I'm going to take that 5 inches and go over to that half length again and place it there to be 5 inches. So the reason I'm doing this is that I could have just said, because these two lines on this half length is my nipple point and my underbust, so I could have just decided to shape it directly on this half length that I cut, but it will not be accurate because it's already, you are placing it on a bustier, and as you are placing it on a bustier, it means the bustier has already gone up a little bit, so it's not going to be accurate. I don't know, some people might want to, shape it like that, but I just find this method easy and quite accurate. So you can go ahead to do yours like that or follow this one, whichever works for you do. So I did that, and after putting the 5 inches there, I shaped it out. I did the curve on the half length, so you can see that I placed it on the half length and it was accurate. It was on the same line with the posterior parts. So let me just do it very well with the biro so you can see it very well. I could have used a marker for this, but I'm sure you guys can see it very well. So you can see the curve was originally on the under bust, but you can see that it has now gone up. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. So if you are using a lace, you can just cut it like that without adding maybe half inch at the half inch while cutting. But me, I'm using a plain material, and I don't know if I'm going to be adding trimmings to the curve after sewing it, so I just wanted a really nice finishing. So I added half an inch, not really half an inch, like quarter of an inch seam allowance to it, that I'm going to be using to turn it because I wanted a nice finishing. So I added it, and after doing that, I took the brown paper that I cut it on and I placed it on the bustier part. So to make sure it was accurate on the bustier part and my half length will not be too long or maybe too short, I measured from the shoulder to the down part of the bustier, and I made sure I had 19 inches. Does that make sense? So half inch will be going for the shoulder joining and half inch for the down part joining to the skirt. Do you get that? So after doing that, I'm just going to go ahead and cut it on fabric. So after cutting it on fabric, I also did the same thing again. It wasn't really necessary, but I did the same thing again just to make sure that it was accurate. And after doing that, I'm going to fold it into two. This yoke, I'm going to fold it into two and get the midpoint of the yoke, so that I'm not going to be, it's not, when I place it on my fabric, it's not going to be one-sided, it's going to be accurate. It's going to be on where it's going to be, where it's supposed to be. It's not going to be one-sided, maybe the neck will now be bending. So I try to get the midpoint of the yoke, and I also try to get the midpoint of the bustier part and placed it. Don't mind all this chalk, By the time I'm done, I'll clean it out. So mm, so after placing it, I'm still going to do the same thing I did to place my tape proof from the shoulder to the down part, and make sure I have 18 and make sure I have 19 inches. Sorry, and make sure I have 19 inches. So now I saw that it was accurate, and from the shoulder to the down part was accurate, and it was 19 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and start pinning it, so it won't shake, because if it shakes, your half length might not be accurate, it might be bending, you might be having issues later. So I'm just going to pin it. So guys, I want to beg you guys to subscribe to my YouTube channel. This is my first video on YouTube. If you are seeing this video, that means I posted it. Yes, I posted it and I started my YouTube channel. So please don't hesitate to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please support me. I really need you guys support on this. If you mistakenly watch this video, by any means, please kindly subscribe if this video was helpful to you, and leave a comment if you need to, tell me anything. So let's just go back right into the video. So I used the bias tape to turn this part inside. You can just, if you have a weaving machine, you can just weave it and turn it, or you can decide to turn it like that, it will still work. I don't even know why I used a bias tape, but it was easy for me, and you can do it on yours too. So this is how it looks like. You can see that it's coming together. The next thing you go ahead you do is just to add your skirt part to it, and also, or you can add your shoulder, but whichever way, but it's ready. The yoke part is ready. We are done. If you're using a lace, just sew it on top like that. You don't really need to turn it with anything, because most people will always end up adding trimmings to it. I think I'm going to add trimmings to mine, but I'm kind of confused. I don't know if I want it to be that, flashy, but let's just leave it this way. Back to what I was saying before, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you find this video helpful, just subscribe. That's all I'm asking. If you find this video helpful, please subscribe. And because I'm a new YouTuber, this is my first video. I want to say this in this video, so you guys know, if you're watching this is Tidy's Techniques first video. So please subscribe. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It will really mean a lot. So it really mean a lot to me, so please subscribe. So we are almost done with this tutorial. The last thing I want to say is that after doing this, you might have an issue with the arm hole, in that it might be a little bit too small. So you can just go ahead to shape it out so it will be accurate, and you'll be able to fix your sleeve and whatever you want to put. So that will be all for this video. We finally come to an end to this video. Thanks for watching. I so appreciate you guys. If you find this video helpful, please like the okay, just like this video, and leave a comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you.